Are you an aspiring leader who knows you have more to offer but you can't seem to get ahead? Do you frequently feel overwhelmed and undersupported? Listen to the Overcome to Become podcast as we talk about actionable tasks and mindsets that you can apply to begin leading yourself. Hi, my name is Angela Buckley, your host and author of the Strength in Nature Leadership Series. I'm a mother, consultant, triathlete, and author. In Overcome to Become, I share with you the science-backed and experience-proven lessons I've learned in my own leadership journey to beat burnout. Thanks for listening. Hi, everybody. My name's Angela Buckley, and I am your host today on Overcome to Become. This is a new podcast that I'm getting started to talk to you about all of the issues associated with overwhelm. What is overwhelm? It is burnout, but maybe on a slightly lower level. So what we're talking about are the things where you just feel like life is getting out of control. Maybe it's hectic. Maybe you're dealing with things that are going on that you just don't know how to address. And maybe there's too many things. Definitely as busy professionals, as parents, as community citizens, we have a habit to say yes. We have a habit of wanting to help others. And sometimes all of those things come into play and take over our lives and take over ourselves. And we find ourselves unable to keep up with all of the commitments that we've made. And yet wanting to keep going, we have this opportunity, or we have these habits of continuing to say yes and helping others and not taking the time to focus on ourselves. And we get to a point of overwhelm where we say we just can't keep up, and we recognize that we don't have the energy for ourselves, and we recognize that we don't have the opportunity to take care of ourselves as well as we would like to, and as well as we need to, because in order to be good professionals, good parents, good community citizens, we have to have an ability to take care of ourselves first. This is going to be an 8-season series in which we will talk about many of the topics that approach overcome the overwhelm. So getting started right now, I think in our first session, what we'll just be talking about are some of our goals to overcome the overwhelm. So one of the things that we know about overwhelm is that it's physical, it's mental, and it's emotional. And so we're going to be breaking down each of these elements and talking about different things that we can do to try to get our life back into some sort of control for ourselves. And that means some self-care. I'd like to highlight the fact that a cup of coffee and a morning out at the local cafeteria is a lot of fun, but it's not necessarily what we're talking about when we're talking about self-care. What we're going to be talking about with self-care is truly understanding what the emotional elements are, what the physical elements are, and what the spiritual elements are. We'll always be starting with our physical elements first, because in order to have a healthy emotional life and a happy spiritual life, we also need to understand those underlying physical contributions as well. So our goals in this series will be, first of all, to understand what overwhelm feels like physically, and what are some of the very simple steps that we can take to start getting this under control for ourselves. Of course, I am not a medical doctor, and so I don't want to play into that mindset of saying that I know more than I do, and I don't. So what I'm going to be doing is sharing with you basic healthy steps to be moving forward with your body to overcome the overwhelm. And if you have underlying health conditions, please definitely reach out to a doctor and someone who is an expert in the field that addresses your needs. The other part, the next part, right, after we talk about some of these healthy physical tips, we'll also be talking about spiritual tips as well. So spiritual tips will include things like meditation, what does yoga look like, what does visualization look like, and how do we address these and use these as a mindful way, as an intentional way to make sure that we maintain our connectivity to the world. And then, of course, we said physical, and we said spiritual, and then we have emotional. And so when we talk about emotional, this is about our regulations of our emotions, acknowledgement of both positive and negative, and then also working forward to understanding how we can address those, how we can communicate those, how we build that sense of community, and how the three of these really build this triangle to create a network for ourselves so that we can overcome the overwhelm. My name's Angela Buckley. I am the host here today of Overcome to Become. I am a mother. I am a triathlete. I am an aspiring PhD student in organizational leadership with a focus on adult learning theory. And I have been working in manufacturing as change manager for over 25 years. So I have been very committed to understanding what change looks like, what leadership looks like, how we take these skills and we apply them to successful businesses. I have had the fortune of working for many Fortune 200 companies. I have worked internationally as a global training manager, operating on 8 different sites in 3 or 4 different countries, depending on what you count at what time. So I bring a wealth of leadership development experience. I bring more than a few academic degrees with me. I bring a certification as a physical trainer in multiple disciplines, and I currently race for the age group Team USA team for USA Triathlon, particularly in the disciplines of aquabike and aquathlon. I love what I do, and I love who I have become, and I would like to share with you all of the tips that I've learned through academia, through development work, through reading, and through self-experimentation to help you also find balance and overcome the overwhelm that preys at each one of our doors. So that's why I'm here today, and that's why I have this course that I offer as well, Overcome to Become, as part of our leadership development series. And what I'd like to offer you with this podcast series is an opportunity to open that door, to understand what overwhelm looks like, and to really start creating the good, positive habits that are necessary in order for you to overcome overwhelm and keep that overwhelm at bay consistently in your life. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to talking to you next time. You've just concluded an episode of Overcome to Become, a leadership podcast focusing on leading yourself first. Thanks for listening. I'm Angela Buckley with Creatively Efficient, author of the Strength in Nature Leadership Series. To learn more about mindsets and leadership, follow me on Instagram at Creatively Efficient.